Hello, everyone. Is the mic high enough? Yeah, seems good. All right. So my name is Laurence Kozera. I'm based in Zurich, and I work at Google for the product partnerships team. Today, we'd like, together with Christian and Konstantin, to talk about the next generation web. We know that a majority of users, I'm sure you know it as well, have actually moved to the mobile world. But it seems that the web is not quite there yet. But basically, the importance of the web is massive. It's the biggest platform that mankind has ever built. And there is nothing else that allows you to reach 3.4 billion people by just tapping a link. So, in this room, let's do a quick show of hands. And if you don't want to raise your hands, you can just think about it. Who has a mobile website? There's quite a few. Who thinks that their mobile website is good, it's decent, it does the job? All right, we're losing a few people here. And who thinks that they have an outstanding mobile experience, one that anyone who has access to the web would be delighted to use? We have one? No? None? Really? All right. So, there you go. We know that, we understand that, and we feel with you. Because Google and Microsoft and Apple and Mozilla and Opera, we've been building browsers which were meant to let people surf on the web on desktop. Then the transition to mobile happened. And we didn't take the time to look at this transition, to look at the new devices that were available. We didn't take into account the user's needs at that point, and we lost some of them. And some people thought that actually the web was dying. A lot of people started at that point to look at apps, because they just offer more capacities. But when you look at apps, you can offer more, but you still have one major difficulty, which is that it's incredibly hard and incredibly expensive to actually reach the people, to distribute what you want to distribute. So again, these players like Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Apple, we got together and we've been trying to rethink the mobile web and where it should be going in order to fit these new devices. We tried to look at the web and to add the capacities so that you have the amazing reach of the web plus the capacities, that you shouldn't choose between the two. And one of the results of this thinking, mainly based on the feedback of news publishers at the beginning, because to be fair, on mobile, that was the most burning issue, to fix how you get your news on mobile. We've started a new open format called Accelerated Mobile Pages. And the results are pretty clear. The content is 4 times faster, and the median loading time is below 1 second. We have some stuff missing, I'm sorry. But that's fine. Because when you put yourselves in the shoes of the users or the customer, they really want their entire content to load instantly. They don't want to wait. And the research is actually showing that with each second of loading time that you add, you lose 7% of your users. So accelerated mobile pages was the first step in that direction, to reinvigorate the web. And today, we want to look at an example from XING. So XING, not only they started to create accelerated mobile pages to really boost their content production, but they also created a mobile web experience that we called progressive web apps, which looks and feels like an app, but you don't have to download anything. And I think it's best if you hear firsthand from them. So with that, I'll give the mic to Konstantin. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Laurence. My name is Konstantin. I'm SEO manager for XING Jobs, and this is my colleague Christian, who's responsible for the product of XING Jobs. XING has got a lot of different products, as you can see, events, groups, profiles. So yeah, we work in the jobs unit, and if we are talking about progressive web apps and AMP, it's always related to XING Jobs. All right, so let's get started. Laurence said a few words about AMP. I want to underline that from our perspective. On the one hand, you have this shift from desktop to mobile. I think everybody knows that yeah, the mobile internet usage overtook the desktop, and on the other hand, the web can keep up. You have really slowly loading pages, the scrolling is non-responsive, content shifts around, so that's really bad. That's for the user, for the mobile user, bad experience, and that's the idea of AMP or other technologies like Facebook Instant Articles. But yeah, AMP should speed up the page load, and of course, as Laurence said, the bounce rate is an important indicator. If you speed up the page load, it really helps to get your users on the site. The question, why is AMP so fast? To make it very simple, there are two important factors. On the one hand, you have this reduction topic. So the whole HTML, the JavaScript, the images are compressed. That really speed up AMP. And on the other hand, you have this content delivery network. So your AMP content is hosted on this CDN network. And yeah, that's of course a sensitive topic, because if you put your content on this CDN network, you have to think about what content is interesting for that. Yeah, we did that, and I give you examples for it. So, but that's that makes AMP so fast. And first, AMP was rolled out for content publishers, so it was a topic more for news. But then in August 16, there was this article or post from Search Engine Land that AMP is interesting for every company, for every business model. And XING checked that topic, and yeah, we balanced the pros and cons of this topic. And our recommendation is you have to do the same, because we wouldn't give you any general statements about it. Every content structure, every business model is different. So you have to reflect the pros and cons. And from our point of view, we wanted to be fast. We wanted to give the mobile user a good experience. We want to track. We want to learn from this new technology. Of course, we wanted to be first mover for learning from this AMP stuff, and we don't know what is Google planning. Maybe a new Google carousels are going to be rolled out. So of course we are interested in that topic, which is very young, and there are a lot of movements. So yeah, that's what we wanted. That's the pros. And of course we checked our page structure, and we looked at the cons. What content should we put on this content delivery network? What page structure is interesting for it? And yeah, the marketing and monetization. For us, these pages are more our most important KPI are clicks and traffic. So there's no pop-ups or something which could be a problem for AMP, and that's why we decided, okay, let's implement AMP, and that's our page structure. So we have the home page, we have the search engine result pages. That's the most important pages for us, where our jobs run in, and if a user is searching for jobs, then he can choose them there. So that's not only for us, it's for every job competitor. These pages are anyway open up for Google. They are available, crawlable for Google. So we said that would be great if these pages, these search engine results pages, would be much more faster and AMP ready. So we implemented these search engine result pages, and of course it was great that we had perfect support, direct counterparts on Google side that really helped us. But there are a lot of guides out there, checklists, yeah, we implemented 300,000 SERPs within 3 weeks with one engineer. So that's a good time frame. So it's possible to do that fast. Yeah, that's how it looks like. You see this search snippet, you see this AMP logo, and yeah, it couldn't be faster. If you click on it, it's instantly available, and that's really great. What really helped us after implementing AMP, we used the Search Console or Webmaster Tools, and we checked our errors, our index pages, so that's really helpful after implementing to monitor that topic with Search Console. Of course, very interesting for you is the traffic and the performance, and we didn't expect any quick wins. We said it's more an invest in a mobile technology. We want to learn from it, but yeah, we had steady improvement on these pages. Of course, we have seasonal effects at XING jobs in December, Christmas time, and so on. The search volume is down, and in January, New Year, everybody's looking for new jobs, so that's higher. And but yeah, the trend is good, and we have steady improvement, and we want to learn more about that. And yeah, to summarize the learnings, we converted these 300,000 pages within 3 weeks. Search Console really helps out for monitoring this topic, and it's a very young topic, so there's a lot of movement, and yeah, we think that we can learn a lot more, and it's not a quick win. We see it as long invest in mobile. And now I'm going to hand over to Christian, who's going to tell you a little bit about progressive web apps.
Right. Thanks so much. Okay, so I'm from product, so let me just quickly give you a brief glimpse on where we see progressive web apps and accelerated mobile pages for our product XING jobs. So when you look at the funnel, depending on how you define it, but AMPs work nicely in the phase where you do acquisition or engagement or activation of the user. We have a lot more products. You can see here, for example, Bewerbung.com is a content portal, so there we are thinking about implementing AMP as well after our first initial good success. But AMP is only a small part of a bigger initiative, and that is bringing great user experience to the mobile web. We all know apps are working quite nicely, but the mobile web sometimes lacks in user experience, and this is what progressive web apps is about. So for example, I will go into detail about how you can implement push notification on the mobile device in the web browser, or how you can just appify your existing mobile website. So I won't go too much into detail, but let's look at the small screen history or the internet on a mobile device. There are a lot of initiatives over the last 10, 15 years. It all started out with, I don't know if you remember, but WAP sites on really low-end devices. And now we are at a stage where we have very capable devices in our hands, and that means we can actually do way more than we are currently doing. And mobile browser technology currently is a state where it picks up and is able to deliver way better experience than we oftentimes actually provide to the user. So why exactly PWA? So first and foremost, we are all about the user experience. So radically improving the user experience is really important for us. As you saw at the show of hands, barely any one of you were confident enough to say we provide already really great user experience on the mobile device. And that's a bad thing, I think, because there's way more possible. So what that actually means is first and foremost be reliable, so independent, for example, of the network state, provide a good user experience. Be fast, so we saw the charts beforehand. If you take like 5 seconds to load something, then most probably the user is gone already. And be engaging, so the content must fit the use case. So at XING Jobs, we thought about what do we actually want to do. When we heard about the technology, when we heard about the idea, what's behind that, how could we utilize that for our products? And we decided deliberately to build it into our existing products. So not building something new or building a side project or building a new use case. Actually, we wanted to test it with the existing products we have. And you saw we implemented M for our search result pages, but we did a little bit more. So PWA. PWA is a big word, but there's one crucial base feature which you need to implement, and that is service workers. Service workers allow you, independent of the user interaction and independent of the mobile usage, to retrieve and show information. So, for example, when the user right now in XING Jobs goes to an M page and looks at the first search result, then actually what we do with the service worker in the background is already load a second result. So that as soon as the user decides to click on a second result, it's instantly available. A second thing is providing offline experience. So imagine you browse through 10 jobs, for whatever reason your network goes down, and you can still look into the history and check your jobs. Push notifications, so you're all used to it from native applications, but it's possible in the mobile browser. Not, to be honest, the technology is not on all mobile devices available, but start thinking about it. And background sync, so keeping the data fresh. So independent if the user currently is using your website, you can update it. So here's a concrete example. So on the left side, you see our job detail page. And what you can actually see is the service worker figuring out, because we told him to, that there are common assets in this website. So the logo is always the same, the style sheets are always the same, the font is always the same. So these assets don't need to be loaded over and over again. That's bad, because it takes way more time than just retrieving it from the cache. So what the service worker does, store this on the mobile device in the mobile web browser, and on a second load, as you can see here, it gets retrieved from a service worker from the mobile device and only takes 0 to 10 milliseconds. So that's way better than going to the network. A second thing, so we are talking, as you heard, more about apps. So how do you convert a mobile website into an app? Basically, that's very trivial right now. You have to tell what this app should be called like. So for example, in our case, you give it an identity and say it's called XING Jobs. You give it a starting point, so when you open up the website from your home screen of the mobile device, we need to know where to start from. You give it a logo, as you are familiar with, and that's basically it already. So how then does that actually behave like? So imagine you're using our website, you're searching for a job, you do this once or twice and the browser recognizes that you're visiting the site frequently, and we offer you the same experience as you are known from mobile native applications. So we offer you to pin this website, or this web application to be more precise, to your home screen of the mobile device. So that is already quite a step ahead of basically being more engaging, making sure that your site gets revisited in comparison to native applications. Furthermore, you can do push notifications, offline support, seamless login. These types of features we didn't build yet into our product, but we are actively thinking about in the product development, because they're actually quite doable. And for example, for push notifications, you can reuse your existing infrastructure if you have it available of your native applications. Offline support is a little bit more tricky because you need to support the user state. So the user must be aware that he's offline. Maybe you need to show him something different. So that's a little bit more tricky, to be honest. Seamless login, hugely important. If you want your user to be identifiable, he must be logged in somehow. And on mobile devices, that's still super annoying. And nobody remembers their credentials, nobody wants to type it in. So making it easy for the user to log in or stay logged in is really crucial, especially for our products. So to sum it up, AMP is a part of PWAs. AMP is highly relevant already, and PWAs are basically a new thing which allow you to make the user experience on a mobile device way better, and especially doing it over time. So this is not something you do once and then you're done. You basically need to look at your product, at your use cases, and figure out what do you need. Maybe you need push notifications, maybe you can utilize offline support, maybe you can utilize location detection. So for example, one big thing for native applications is geofencing. You can do this already in conjunction with the service worker. So for example, the service worker knows where you're currently at, can notify you, the user, via push notifications about something special happening on this location. So that's all doable already with web technologies, and the real benefit from a product perspective in my mind is also that it's one technology stack. So right now you have iOS development, Android development, web development. They're all somehow special and different, and that's cool, but that needs a lot of resources. So if you're in this boundary condition where you don't have endless resources, try to think if you want to invest next into web technologies. That's it from my side. So thank you very much. For sure, that was a... The slide deck was not as planned, but anyways, if you have questions, feel free to ask us now. We are also available after the talk. Thanks to the organizer, and thanks also to Google for working with us together on this mission. And we're only starting out. As you saw, PWAs allow way more than we currently have built into our live product. Thanks very much. Right.
Once again, I wanted to ask about push notifications. So what use case do you see, and what the difference would be between like app push notifications and in-app, like the ones you mentioned? Thank you.
Okay, I actually prepared the slide for that, but I couldn't show it. So for example, in our jobs case, we engage our users most of the time via emails. So we send them an email, they check the latest 10 jobs or the jobs in their region, they click on it, they go back into the product. But on the mobile use case, that requires we need to ask him about his or her email address, and have a user flow which is quite convoluted. Instead, what we could do, what you're used from native applications, we could just recognize the telephone number of the user, store that, and push notifications to the service worker, basically. So what you do is actually let the service worker know there are new jobs available, for example, and then basically the mobile browser technology takes care of that, displays in your notification center on your mobile device. You can click on it, you are immediately back in the mobile website. So keep that in mind. There's a difference between the app and the website, but the user actually doesn't see a difference. So we tried that out. It looks exactly and behaves exactly the same as with our native apps. We do have native apps available, but we also see obviously the complexity of this whole system and try to make it more efficient and more practical for the user as well.
Maybe a quick follow-up. What we've seen in the field of e-commerce is, so you have your mobile site, and the users don't want to install the app, but they've been looking at items and they've even created a basket. If you have a PWA, then you can have a push notification to tell them, hey, do you want to proceed with your order? It looks like you have your basket, you haven't ordered what you've been looking at, so if you want to do it now, you can click through and just go to it. So for e-commerce, that's potentially one of the best use cases.
Hi. You're only talking about mobile applications. Mobile applications. Don't you think there are advantages for tablet and desktop too when using this?
Yes, for sure. I mean, obviously we focused on, actually we at XING call it small screen, so we don't call it mobile because we want to reduce like this misunderstanding. Are we talking about an app? Are we talking about the mobile web? Are we talking about a responsive version of the mobile web? So we try to coin the phrase small screen. And for sure, this is also beneficial for the desktop website or application. So for example, push notifications are highly relevant for the desktop as well. Maybe some of you, I mean, it's already quite out there. If you use WhatsApp, if you use Facebook, you see desktop notifications. So we at XING, for example, don't do that yet. But that's also a way of re-engaging the user, and it depends on your use case. So, for example, if you have a product which needs research and most likely gets purchased after thinking about it on a bigger screen because for whatever reason, then it's highly relevant there as well, yes.
I mean, I see all the pro about AMP, like better user experience is almost the same as the app. The user doesn't have to install. Do you think that it will actually kill the app itself?
No. But the full answer is that we don't know yet. We don't know yet. We've seen the shift. It was all on apps. Now it's a mix again. So we don't know if apps are going to die in the long run. Maybe, maybe not. But for now, we see like different experiences. If you are a super loyal customer, user, whatever, then you want to install the app. You want to have that super dedicated experience. And as an owner of the app, you want to be able to interact with that very direct interaction. But you also have a lot of users that maybe don't want to install the app because it takes time and it takes downloading, like it takes data, takes space on your phone. So maybe these users, you can also catch them if you build a PWA or if you have AMP content, and then hopefully in the long run you're going to be able to convert them into dedicated users who actually want to install the app. So it should be a full chain. We don't know if the element of the app is going to disappear at some point or not. We don't see it disappearing so far, but it's one more element of the chain, I would say.